Hey everyone, it's your boy, Sam's channel name, back with another video. But this isn't your typical run-of-the-mill upload. No, today we're talking about the law, but not like boring tax law or whatever. We're diving headfirst into the weird, the wacky, the did they really just say that side of legislation. Because believe it or not, scattered across the globe are laws so strange, so head-scratchingly specific, you'll wonder if lawmakers were playing Mad Libs with the legal code. We're talking laws that dictate what animals get shotgun in your car, what you can name your children, and even, yes, where you are legally allowed to die. Buckle up, Nerdfighters, because today, we're embarking on a wild ride through 13 of the most bizarre laws still enforced around the world. Some will make you laugh, some might make you gasp, and others? Well, let's just say, you might want to double-check your travel plans after hearing these. So grab your passports, pack your sense of humor, and get ready to explore the side of the legal system they don't teach you in school. Let's get into it. Alright, let's kick things off in Singapore, a country known for its stunning skyline, delicious food, and its unusual aversion to chewing gum. You heard that right. In Singapore, popping a piece of gum can land you in seriously hot water. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist here, people. We're talking fines, we're talking public service, we're talking a serious crackdown on chewy goodness. But why, you ask? Why would a country wage war on something as seemingly innocuous as chewing gum? Well, my friends, it all boils down to one word: cleanliness. See, Singapore takes pride in its pristine streets, and apparently nothing screams public nuisance like discarded chewing gum. Apparently, back in the day, people were sticking gum on subway doors, on elevator buttons, basically turning the entire country into one giant sticky mess. So in 1992, the government took a stand. They said enough is enough, no more gum-sticking shenanigans. And just like that, chewing gum was outlawed. It's actually quite fascinating when you think about it. A nation taking such a firm stance against something so seemingly small, all in the name of maintaining public order and cleanliness. It really makes you wonder, how bad did the gum situation have to be for them to resort to a nationwide ban? Okay folks, buckle up, because things are about to get existentially weird. We're headed north, way north, to the icy plains of Norway, to a town called Longyearbyen. This place is known for its stunning landscapes, its polar bears, and, oh yeah, the fact that it's technically illegal to die there. Yes, you heard me correctly. You can't kick the bucket in Longyearbyen. It's like a real-life glitch in the Matrix, except instead of bending spoons, they're bending the rules of life and death. Now, you might think this is just some bizarre urban legend, but I assure you, it's very real. The reason behind this law is actually quite practical, albeit a little morbid. See, Longyearbyen is located in the Arctic Circle, where the ground is permanently frozen. We're talking permafrost, people. And as you may or may not know, bodies don't decompose properly in permafrost. Instead, they tend to, well, stick around. And that, my friends, can lead to some serious health hazards, especially in a town with limited space. So, to prevent potential disease outbreaks, Longyearbyen has instituted this rather unique law. If you're terminally ill, or nearing the end of your days, they politely whisk you off to the mainland. Funerals? Yeah, those happen elsewhere too. It's a fascinating example of how geography and climate can shape not only the way we live, but also the way we die. And it makes you wonder, if you can't die in Longyearbyen, what are the other options? Do they have a designated afterlife waiting area somewhere? These are the questions that keep me up at night, people. Okay, this one is seriously unbelievable. We're talking about Winnie the Pooh, everyone's favorite honey-loving bear. He's supposed to be in playgrounds, right? Not according to one town in Poland. They straight up banned him from their playground. Now you might be thinking, what could sweet, innocent Pooh Bear possibly have done? Well, get this. The officials decided he was inappropriately dressed. And why was he inappropriately dressed? Because he doesn't wear pants. I mean, come on, he's a bear. They even went as far as to say he had an incomplete sex identity. I am not making this up. I have to admit, I'm struggling to understand the logic here. Is there some kind of pants shortage in the 100-acre wood? Are children going to be corrupted by the sight of a bear's furry legs? It just seems like a really strange hill to die on, you know? Poor Pooh. Next time you're enjoying a picnic with a certain stuffed bear, spare a thought for the children of this Polish town who are missing out on the simple joy of a Pooh-themed slide. DFTBA to you, Pooh Bear. DFTBA. From banned bears to privileged poultry, we're hopping over to France for this next one. Now, France is known for many things: romance, delicious pastries, and apparently, giving ducks the right of way. You heard me right. In some towns, if a flock of ducks decides to take a leisurely stroll across the road, you have to stop and let them. It's the law. Imagine this: you're already running late for work, rushing to that very important meeting, when suddenly, a parade of ducks waddles into view, bringing traffic to a standstill. You can't honk, you can't swerve, you just have to sit there and wait for the feathered procession to pass. And if you think about it, it makes a certain kind of sense. Ducks can't exactly speed up on command, they don't have a concept of human schedules or traffic laws, they just want to get to their destination, which probably involves a pond and some tasty breadcrumbs. So next time you're in France, remember to channel your inner Zen master, and embrace the duck-mandated delays. After all, who are we to rush these fine feathered friends? Okay folks, buckle up because this next one is a real head-scratcher. We're talking about reincarnation, bureaucracy, and the intersection of the two in China. Specifically, Tibetan Buddhist monks in China need government approval to reincarnate. Yes, you heard that right. Spiritual rebirth requires paperwork. Imagine spending your life seeking enlightenment, achieving nirvana, and then, when it's time to move on to the next life, you're met with a celestial bureaucrat who's all like, "Hold on a minute, did you file the proper reincarnation request forms in triplicate?" It's enough to make you question the nature of reality, right? Like, what's the point of breaking free from the cycle of death and rebirth if you still have to deal with paperwork on the other side? I guess even in the afterlife you can't escape the long arm of the law. And honestly, if you're going to have a bureaucratic system in the afterlife, China is probably the place to do it. They invented bureaucracy after all. Okay, this one might seem a little too specific, but in Switzerland some apartment buildings actually have a rule against flushing your toilet after 10 p.m. I know, right? I mean, what happens when nature calls in the middle of the night? Apparently it's considered noise pollution. Can you imagine having to schedule your bathroom breaks around your neighbors' sleep schedules? It's like, hold on, gotta wait for the clock to strike 10:01, it's officially potty time. Switzerland is known for being quiet and peaceful, but this is taking it to a whole new level. I guess the Swiss really value their sleep. But seriously, can you imagine the consequences? Do they have toilet police who come knocking on your door with a decibel meter? Like, excuse me sir, but that was a very loud flush. I'm going to have to write you up. It's a good thing I don't live in Switzerland because I am a notorious night owl, and late night snacks are kinda my jam. Let's hop over to Greece, the land of ancient wonders and, apparently, strict footwear regulations. You know those iconic images of the Acropolis perched high above Athens? Breathtaking, right? Well, if you're planning on channeling your inner Athena and rocking a pair of stylish heels, you might want to pack some sneakers too. Turns out those stilettos are a big no-no at ancient sites like the Acropolis. I'm talking about serious fashion police. Or, well, history police, I guess. You see, those thin heels can do some serious damage to the ancient marble. And when I say damage, I don't mean a little scuff mark. We're talking about potentially chipping away at centuries-old history one step at a time. I get it, you want to look your best, especially when surrounded by such breathtaking beauty. But imagine accidentally tripping and taking a chunk out of a pillar that stood for millennia. So next time you're planning a trip to Greece, remember, comfort over couture. You can still look fabulous while rocking those comfy kicks. Trust me, your feet and the Acropolis will thank you for it. Okay, picture this. You're in Sri Lanka, surrounded by stunning temples and serene statues of Buddha. You want to capture the moment, maybe snag that perfect Instagram shot. But before you whip out your selfie stick and strike a pose, listen up. In Sri Lanka, disrespecting Buddha is a serious offense, and that includes turning your back on a statue, even for a selfie. I know, it seems a little strict. But in many cultures, showing your back to someone, especially a religious figure, is considered incredibly rude. It's like turning your back on the Queen of England or something. Not cool, right? Now imagine doing that to a revered spiritual leader. Yeah, not a good look. There have been cases of tourists being detained and even deported for posing inappropriately with Buddha statues. And you know what? I kind of get it. Imagine traveling to a place with deep religious significance and seeing people disrespecting their most sacred symbols. It's about being mindful and respectful of the local culture. So, next time you're traveling and want to snap a selfie with a religious statue or monument, take a moment to think about the cultural context. Ask yourself if your pose might be considered disrespectful. Remember, travel is about more than just checking things off your bucket list. It's about experiencing different cultures and learning from them. And who knows, you might even discover something new about yourself along the way. Okay, this one seems like something straight out of a sitcom, but I promise you, it was real. In Victoria, Australia, you couldn't just change a light bulb. Nope, that was serious business. If you wanted to swap out a burnout bulb, you had to call in a licensed electrician. Apparently, it all boiled down to safety regulations. The government classified changing a light bulb as electrical work, and you know, safety first and all that. Of course, this led to some pretty absurd situations. Imagine having to explain to an electrician that, no, you didn't need your entire house rewired, you just needed a new light bulb in the bathroom. Thankfully, someone finally saw the light, pun intended, and they updated the law. Now the good people of Victoria are free to change their own light bulbs to their heart's content. But for a shining moment in history, it was the law of the land. And you know what they say, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, let's talk about a law that's a little more, shall we say, impactful. In Japan, they take their health seriously. Like, really seriously. So seriously, in fact, that they have something called the Metabo law. Now this isn't your typical law with fines or jail time. Instead, the Metabo law puts the onus on employers to make sure their employees stay within certain waistline limits. That's right, companies are tasked with monitoring the waistlines of their workers. If you're over the limit, well, you might be sent for some mandatory weight counseling or enrolled in a special diet and exercise program. The idea behind it is to combat obesity and promote overall national health, which are certainly noble goals. But it does make you wonder about the line between personal responsibility and government intervention, doesn't it? It's a complex issue, and like most complex issues, there are no easy answers. Alright, let's lighten the mood a bit with a law that's sure to put a smile on your face, or at least force you to fake one. We're heading to Milan, Italy, a city known for its fashion, its art, and apparently its aversion to frowning. You see, Milan has this centuries-old law that basically requires people to smile in public. Now, before you start picturing the fashion police handing out citations for looking grumpy, it's important to note that this law isn't really enforced anymore. It's more of a historical curiosity than anything else. But back in the day, it was a real thing. The law did have a few exceptions, of course, funerals, hospital visits. Those were all considered acceptable reasons to ditch the grin, but if you were caught walking around with a frown on your face for no good reason, you could actually be fined. I guess the idea was to promote a positive and welcoming atmosphere. Or maybe they just really liked seeing people smile. Okay, this one is just wild. Sweden, the land of meatballs and affordable furniture, also has some pretty strict naming laws. You'd think they'd be cool with a little creativity, but nope. They have a law against giving your kid a name deemed inappropriate. And apparently inappropriate covers a lot of ground. I mean, I get it, you don't want kids getting bullied for their names. But IKEA? That's just good marketing. Imagine little baby IKEA growing up, always getting free Swedish meatballs at the store. That's a childhood dream right there. But alas, Swedish authorities said nije to that one. And it's not just IKEA. Metallica, Superman, even poor Darth Vader, all rejected. I guess they really want to protect those kids from a lifetime of explaining their names. But come on, Sweden, live a little. Let those parents express their individuality, even if it means their kid's name is a furniture store. Speaking of questionable life choices, let's talk about goats and cars in Washington state. Alright, I'm not sure what's in the water in Washington state, but apparently they have some strong opinions about goats in cars, specifically female goats in passenger seats. This law, and I cannot stress this enough, is real. It's illegal to let a female goat ride shotgun in your car in parts of Washington. Male goats? Totally fine. No problem there. Just buckle up Billy Goat Gruff and you're good to go. But if you've got a Gertrude or a Gladys, they're relegated to the back seat. Or, you know, the field, where goats usually hang out. Now the truly baffling part, nobody seems to know why this law exists. Did a rogue female goat steal a car back in the day? Was there a tragic goat-related driving incident involving a lady goat and a plate of delicious car snacks? The mystery remains unsolved. But if any of you have any insight into the history of Washington state and its complicated relationship with female goats, please, for the love of all that is good and weird, let me know in the comments. And there you have it. 13 bizarre laws from around the world that prove reality is often stranger than fiction. I mean, who knew that chewing gum could be a crime against cleanliness, or that ducks had better traffic rights than most humans? But hey, that's the beauty of our weird and wonderful world, right? There's always something new to learn, something to make you laugh, and something to make you question everything you thought you knew. So, thanks for watching. Stay weird, stay curious, and remember, if you ever find yourself being arrested for chewing gum or high-fiving a Buddha statue, just tell them YouTube made you do it. Catch you next time.